Why do I love someone who hurts me? Hey guys, my name is Danny and I'm your life and relationship coach. And today I wanted to talk about the subject of being with an individual who hurts you and why do you stay? Now, first and foremost, I wanted to let you know that you are actually not alone in this. This is quite common. This is something that we see all the time. And most of the time, it actually is something that stems from childhood experiences or any deep rooted insecurities that we may have that make us feel as if we are not good enough, we are less than. And because of that, it results us being in relationships that may not be the best for us. But I want to be 100% clear. If you are currently in a relationship that is toxic or that is abusive, and when I say abusive, I mean emotionally, physically, spiritually, if you are in an abusive relationship, you cannot stay in that relationship. And I know it is very difficult to hear that. I know that it is something that takes time to process. And if you need a little bit of help figuring out whether you are in a toxic or an abusive relationship, you can go to happilycommitted.com and look at some of the articles that we have in regards to toxicity and identifying whether you are in a toxic relationship or not. That being said, I wanted to get into some of the reasons for why you are in a relationship that is hurtful to you. So let's get into that. The first one is neediness. Now, neediness is incredibly strong, so strong, in fact, that it can overpower our own emotional well-being. We will choose neediness over our own well-being. And I wanted to elaborate a little bit about what neediness actually means. So when I say the word neediness, it almost has this kind of negative connotation to it, but it's more so about the behavior itself. So for example, humans, we all have needs. Everybody has needs. And the basic needs of life is food, water, and oxygen. And we will do anything for those three things. That is a need that we have. But there are also emotional needs. And these have a tendency of being a little bit more abstract. They are not as objective as food, water, oxygen. These can be the feeling of fulfillment, the feeling of appreciation, happiness, contentment, all these different types of emotion that are also a need. So it is very possible that you are an individual who needs to feel acknowledged, needs to feel validated. And if you are in a relationship in which you are not receiving that validation, it can result in you feeling hurt. Now, that may not necessarily mean that you are in a toxic or an abusive relationship. It can just be that, for example, your partner is an individual who is great at providing financial security. He's an individual who is dependable, he is reliable, she is dependable, she is reliable, and you don't have to worry about that. But for you, what you need is validation. You need that person to acknowledge their appreciation of you, but they may not be good at doing that. So what ends up happening is that you feel undervalued, underappreciated, and then you don't have that feeling of validation. So it can very well be, as I said, just a miss in your understanding and connection of each other, but it can also be something that stems from childhood. So that takes me right into number 2, which is childhood trauma. A lot of the times there are experiences that we have as children that at the time we may not necessarily realize it would be categorized as trauma, but when we become adults, it forms into certain personality traits, certain characteristics that is difficult for us to consciously identify because it is something that came from our childhood. And it was something that was not dealt with. And it was something that we did not have the ability to process because we kind of boxed it up and tucked it deep, deep, deep within. So when I say childhood traumas, that can be, over affection from parents, or a lack of affection from parents, or a very specific situation that happened in your childhood. It could be, you were rejected from the elementary school team and that stuck with you. It can be that you were a victim of rape. It can be multiple different things that happen in your childhood that would be categorized or considered trauma or not dealt with, and then manifested into adult traits, personality traits. So these come out in emotional ways. And what ends up happening is that we have these insecurities within us that we, again, may not fully be aware of, but when they are triggered as an adult, it leads to us feeling hurt. So when we are in relationships with people and they do something that triggers that insecurity, we feel hurt. Number 3 is trading self-love. So again, this comes from a place of insecurity. This potentially comes from a place of childhood experiences that have manifested into adult personality traits. This comes from that lack of self-confidence. So we trade self-love, and it can be catastrophic in a relationship and to us personally as well. So if you are allowing an individual to disrespect you, and you are allowing an individual to treat you less than because you would rather see them content or happy at the expense of yourself, that is you trading self-love. Self-love is the ability to say, no, I love myself. I know who I am as a person. Nobody is more important than I am, and I will not accept this. If you do not do that, if you allow people to step all over you, if you allow your partner to step all over you, that is you sacrificing your own self-love. Our childhood plays a huge role in the building of our confidence. So if we were plagued with insecurities as a child, we are going to be plagued with insecurities as an adult. And in that breakdown of confidence, what ends up happening is that we start to feel less than. We compare ourselves to other people. We feel like we are not good enough. And what that actually ends up doing is that it creates a pattern of self-hate, of self-criticism, and we continue to knock ourselves down until we get to a point where we allow individuals and other people to disrespect us and to, in all honesty, cause us some kind of pain or harm. And it may not necessarily be, and most of the time it's not that you are actively looking for that. It is just so deep within your subconscious that it manifests in your life. So understanding where that hurt is coming from, understanding why you are in a relationship with somebody who hurts you is crucial. It is so important. You have to get to the root of the issue. For me, self-awareness is key, especially in this situation. If you feel like you don't 100% know how to identify certain aspects of your personality that would result in you being in an abusive relationship or getting hurt by your significant other, please click on the link below. It is a training that I have created to help people become more self-aware. It's a step-by-step process of how to start to really go internally and break down your thought process and your emotions. I promise you this will help you along the way and start to actually increase your confidence and strip away those insecurities that you may have. If you feel like you related or you connected with this video, please make sure you hit like or subscribe below. If you are currently in a situation in which you feel like you can relate to this subject, or you previously were in a situation and you feel like you want to discuss it or you have any questions whatsoever, please make sure you put your comments in the comment box below. If you want to dive a little bit further and you kind of want to try to understand a little bit deeper, please make sure you visit us at happilycommitted.com, where we have a multitude of different articles, videos, and blogs related to this subject and many other subject matter as well. You can also book a one-on-one coaching session with either myself or any of the amazing coaches that we have on the team. Again, my name is Danny. I'm your life and relationship coach. I hope you guys are staying happy and healthy, and I hope to see you guys soon.